Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's good? What's good? As y'all already know, this is the Brainz podcast. We got my man BG31 in the building. Our guy, One Trey Rock. You know what I'm saying? And yours truly, Tone Dishills the second. Man, look, we appreciate y'all for locking in on this live stream. Make sure y'all smash that like button. Really helps the content grow. Really helps everything get everywhere. And helps everyone see everything.
What's good? What's good? What's good, beautiful people? This is the BIRDGANG podcast. And as you guys already know, I'm joined by the good brother, BIRDGANG 31, and our guy, One Trey Rock, will be here soon. He's coaching Pee Wee football. My man doing the Lord's work, doing the good God's work. You know what I'm saying? And I'm your humble host, Tone Dishills the second. And man, I'm always looking forward to these conversations. I know sometimes you may not get it one week because the schedule gets hectic for everybody. People got families, people got jobs, careers they're building, and sometimes things get a little hairy, things get a little squirmy, but we always manage to get things back on track. And man, I'm just super grateful, super blessed to be here with this guy, BIRDGANG 31. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys continue to comment in the live stream. We need that live chat nice and spicy. We need it nice and spicy. We need it nice and zesty. We need you guys sprinkling all the salt in there because Cowboys fans like to pop in, but once we get to talking to them, they like to pop out. You dig? So man, make sure you guys are locked in on BGN Network. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Chalk It Up Sports, subscribe to One Trey Rock, subscribe to BIRDGANG 31. Man, so much to talk about. But BIRDGANG, my brother, how are you feeling this evening?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. I can't wait to get on here and let's talk about it. I seen the thumbnail when you made it, and I was like, yes, that's what we need to talk about. Let's get hype about it because we definitely got an elite defense. So we're going to get into that. I know we're going to check over some of the depth chart moves and see what's going on, who's where. And do we agree on it or not? But let's get into it, my guy. I'm ready when you are.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've been paying close attention to training camp, and what stands out to me the most, I want to start talking about these corners, right? And of course, we're going to tap into the offense later on, but I really want to lock in on defense today. I really want to talk about these cornerbacks, the linebackers, safeties, so on and so forth, the D-line. But let's start with the corners. Like, I've been so intrigued. I've been so fascinated by the battles between the corners and the wide receivers. Like, this has probably been the most competitive, the most physical, the most progressive or productive battles that we've had in terms of our wide receivers, our star wide receivers going up against our star corners, and now we have two star wide receivers going up against two star corners each and every day in practice. And I'm curious to know, what are your thoughts about that? And you have guys. I mean, we've all seen the footage, right? We've all seen the tape. You've seen AJ Brown and James Bradbury going at it. You've seen Devontae Smith and Slay going at it, vice versa, and so on and so forth. But my guy, I'm just curious to know, what are your initial thoughts? What are your overall thoughts about the cornerback position and just how much is developed, and also just how these guys are pretty much keeping each other, sharp. You know what I'm saying? These guys are, sharpening their swords, against each other, and iron sharpens iron. So I'm curious to know what your thoughts are about this cornerback position, how it's making these wide receivers better.
Man, I think, like you said, iron sharpens iron. When after the last time you can remember Eagles defense with high caliber cornerbacks and receivers at the same time?
Right.
I can't really think of it. I don't know. I remember when we had all them great cornerbacks, the Bobby Taylors, the Troy Vinces, the Lito Shepherds, Sheldon Browns, Asante Samuels, all those type cornerbacks back in the day. But our receiver core wasn't there yet. And now this year you see, Pro Bowl caliber type receivers and cornerbacks going against each other and battling it out in practice every single day. It's going to do nothing but get them better. But I feel like our whole team as a whole is that type of situation. D-line versus O-line, receivers versus DBs, running backs versus the linebacker. It's all iron sharpening iron, and I cannot wait to see how it comes out this year.
Yeah, one guy I'm super fascinated to see is James Bradbury. We know what we're going to get from Darius Slay, right? We know Darius Slay is a bona fide Pro Bowler, could easily be an All Pro, but that cornerback position is so competitive these days. It's the cornerback position is in good hands, not just with the Philadelphia Eagles, but just in the NFL. You have so many cornerbacks getting paid. You have so many cornerbacks just being really competitive, and these guys are competitive. These guys are dominant in the NFL. That's not favorable to the cornerback. I feel like cornerback is the hardest position to play because you're constantly being left on an island, and your job your job comes with the most risk. I believe out of all positions in the NFL, even the quarterback position, I believe the cornerback position has the slimmest and the thinnest margin of error. Would you agree?
Yeah, and the rules. We done changed so many rules back there. They can't even touch these receivers, without getting a flag called. It's a lot less of the aggressive play in the cornerback position. That's why you don't see so many elite cornerbacks anymore. I feel like before we had, you had those cover corners, the Deion Sanders, the Revis Islands, the Baileys, that were able to get a little bit more physical back in the day with people. And that's not happening this year. I think a lot of this stuff, these calls and the way they're kind of, making the game safer, it definitely counts against the cornerback position. But like all the grass, all you can think about that is all the best get burned, sometime or another.
Yeah.
It's just the best ones don't get burned consistently.
Yeah, and to take it a step further, even if they do get burned, right, the best of the best cornerbacks have the shortest of the shortest memories.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like when you're a corner, you have to have a very short memory. You know what I'm saying? In your everyday life, your family members probably can't stand it. But when you're on that football field, you have to have short-term memory loss. You can't remember the last play. You can't remember the last down, the last drive, what the last player did to you. You have to approach every single down, every single opponent as if they are chopped liver, as if they're food, as if they're barbecue chicken. And the Philadelphia Eagles have the talent at the cornerback position to make anybody barbecue chicken on any given Sunday. Darius Slay, James Bradbury, Vontae Maddox, and then you still have some pretty interesting depth that that I want to talk about at some point as well. But I'm so fascinated by James Bradbury, and he probably has the largest chip on his shoulder when it comes to this defense, man, because he was with Carolina, then went to the Giants, got paid, but then they cut him because they couldn't afford him or didn't want to pay him. Whatever the reason was, they cut him for financial reasons for the most part. And now he's with Philadelphia. All he had to do was drive over a bridge to get here. And I think James Bradbury has a lot to prove. He's such a stoic individual, doesn't really get caught up in the rah-rah. He's more so a show and prove type of guy. What's your thoughts on James Bradbury and what you anticipate for him to do this coming season? Because he's going to give hell to the New York Giants.
I'm excited, man. I think he's still younger. He's not that old to start with. He played on the Giants last year. Everybody sucked on the Giants last year. He wasn't getting very much help. And I think it was a down year for him. But the dude's a Pro Bowler. James Bradley's been there, done that. He's a big, lengthy, physical type receiver that I really think is gonna, be perfect complement for Darius Slay on the other side. You know what I'm saying? Like Darius can handle more of your smaller, twitchy type receivers and let him go against the big boys. That's something our cornerback room has definitely been needing over the last couple of years. If you think about it, even Bobby Taylor and Troy Vincent, both of them had length to them. You know what I'm saying? That's what helped solidify it with a guy like Maddox in the slot to help out, and then the veteran, Harris and Tart or Epps, whichever one of them end up starting. Whichever one of those two, or whichever two of those three end up starting, definitely are good enough to help him out with the back end. So I'm excited to see what he's doing. I'm happy that he feels, juvenated. He's fitting into the team really good. And like you said, he's going against some pretty top flight receivers. Like Darius Slay said, you get one of each. If you want to go work on your speed, and like those fast receivers, you go work with Quez for the day. You want someone that's going to be a technician route runner, you go play on Devontae Smith for a day. And if you want just that
Exactly.
big boy that's going to do a little bit of everything, you go work with AJ. So, these guys
Yeah.
are getting that opportunity to have all different types of receivers, especially that we're going to be going against throughout the season. Like you got the CD Lamb type body structure going. You got even if we play like a Tyreek Hill, you got the speed right there with a guy like Quez Watkins. So there's nothing that these guys can't say that they haven't practiced against before they play them this year, and that's going to be an advantage for our defense for sure.
Yeah, this defense, they match up pretty well with anybody they may go up against if you really put it into perspective. But I'm just so enamored by the fact that we actually have talent that's going to make other talent rise to the top. Now you're not just going to have star guys feasting on, guys that aren't good, right? You have guys that are going to be challenged every single day, and they're going to be forced to get better. You know what I'm saying? Like AJ Brown, he's going to be forced to take his game to another level because he's going up against Darius Slay every day, going up against James Bradbury every day. You have guys that are going to naturally get better because of the pieces that are in the building. AJ Brown even spoke on it. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, I can't remember his exact words, but he mentioned the benefit of going up against guys like Darius Slay every single day, going up against guys like James Bradbury and Avonte Maddox every single day. And some of the most intriguing battles have been between AJ Brown and James Bradbury. Now, James Bradbury is a slightly bigger body than Darius Slay, so he's going to be more he's going to be more physical than Slay, right? AJ Brown has gotten the better of Slay. Most of this can't, but nonetheless, he has to work for it, and he knows that. Devontae Smith, he's going up against legit corners. I mean, he was going up against Slay last year, and him and Slay are like really close friends because they're always going back and forth, and they always talk about each other's game and how they make each other better, and they always talk about who has the better footwork and the better technique, and they're always going back and forth about that. And then, like you said something really important, right? That I think the viewers, the subscribers, the listeners should really key in on. You have every type of wide receiver and cornerback in your building. You have the big body wide receiver. If you want to work on your physicality, you want to work on being able to deal with guys that size. You have your route running technician, the guy that's Mr. Fundamentals in Devontae Smith. You want to work up against guys like that. You have a guy in Devontae Smith that you can train against. If you need to get used to mirroring guys and being able to keep up with guys as far as speed and the slot, you have a Quez Watkins that the corners can match up against. So these cornerbacks, these wide receivers, they have all the resources they need to continue to sharpen their sword, continue to hone their game throughout the season. You know what I mean?
Yeah, facts, man. And I like this one from my little brother from another mother. I am Tay Slay in the building. He goes, it's going to force more balls thrown to tight ends. You know what I'm saying? When you have a secondary like that, you're locking down your number one. You got to realize we're blessed on both sides, in terms of the secondary that we have plus the receivers that we have. There's not going to be very many teams that we play that got four good receivers or three good receivers. Most have one, with a good second. That's maybe not no superstar, but, a good second, and then after that, there's a couple of teams with the three, maybe one other team with the four, but, it's going to force them to go to the tight end. And as far as I remember, I got to relook at the schedule. I'm not really scared of too many of these tight ends in here. And plus, we got good linebackers and safeties that's going to be able to, cover up that.
Right. And, let me, just to push back on the tight end theory, right? It may force the quarterback to, throw their tight ends, right? But the Eagles actually were terrible when it came to, picking up the tight ends last season. And that was solely because our linebackers couldn't cover. Our linebackers didn't have the athleticism, didn't have the speed. These tight ends now, they're taking their athleticism, they're taking their skill set, they're taking their fundamentals, they're taking their technique to a whole new level. And you think about guys like George Kittle, guys like Dan Waller, Travis Kelce, Dalton Schultz with the Cowboys, TJ Hawkinson, Tyler Higbee, CJ Uzoma with the New York Jets. Dallas Goedert, and that's just to name a few of the really good tight ends. What's my man with the Ravens? What's the tight end that played for the Ravens? I forget his name. Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews, yeah. These tight ends are multi-dimensional now. They're not just blocking. You know, they're some tight ends run better routes than these wide receivers these days. So it's going to be so important for the linebackers to be able to keep up with these guys. And now we actually have the talent. We actually have the athleticism. You know, the guys that are multiple, guys that are versatile at that position. And this is the perfect segue to talk about the linebackers, right? Because you have a guy like Kaiser White, who's a homing missile. You know, he finds the ball. He knows how he knows how to get tackles for loss. He knows how to get physical with guys. He's a former safety, so he knows how to drop back in coverage. And he may not be the best in terms of run defense, but if you look up his tape, if you look up the numbers, he's actually pretty productive in defending the run when given the opportunity. I'm not saying he's top tier, but he's serviceable in that regard. But a guy like Kaiser White, very physical, was going to find his way in between the tackles, in between the edge rushers, and try to get home. You have Davion Taylor, who's having an amazing training camp, and I believe Davion Taylor probably has the highest ceiling outside of Nakobe Dean in this linebacker room. Davion Taylor. If Davion Taylor can figure it out, if he can continue to develop, he can be probably the best linebacker on this team. That may be a hot take, but Davion Taylor has all the physical capabilities to be one of the better linebackers in this division. He just has to figure it out. Athleticism, like one of these top tier safeties, he can run sideline, so physical. You know, plays hard. You know what I'm saying? You saw it last year with him starting to figure it out. And then TJ Edwards, another guy who's having an amazing training camp. I'm gonna be honest with you, TJ Edwards and those other guys, they're going to make it hard for Nakobe Dean to see the field, and I like that because it's going to force Nakobe Dean to get better. And on top of that, that means we have depth. I'll be honest with you, I'm not nervous. I mean, God forbid this happens, but I'm not nervous if a guy like TJ Edwards or a guy like Kaiser White get hurt, because you have a guy like Nakobe Dean in the background. You have Davion Taylor still. You know what I mean? You still got Sean Bradley, who's taking his game to another level as well. No one talks about Sean Bradley, but Sean Bradley is a player who's very physical. He's more of your prototypical linebacker. You know what I mean? He might be the most prototypical linebacker in the room outside of TJ Edwards. So, I mean, this linebacker room is in good hands. And like we said, these cornerbacks that we have are going to force quarterbacks to try to take advantage of the middle of the field. But now they can't do that because these linebackers are athletic. They can run solid at the sideline, and they can actually cover this go around. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do.
Oh yeah, man, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be good. You know, the Kaiser White. You know, let's see if he can elevate his game to the next level. Yeah. You know, like you said, Dean Edwards is definitely shocked me, but it seemed like he's not going anywhere anytime soon. You know, I did see the depth chart. He is starting over Dean, which is logical. You know, still early before the season, and usually if a rookie does make that jump, it won't happen till game one. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to happen till game one or after, you know, we get into the season sometime, you know, just to make sure they're ready before you make the move. When you don't have to make a move because TJ Edwards is playing at a high level, you know, and if he continues to play at a high level and he keeps fighting Dean off, that's even more better for us, you know what I'm saying? Because then we know, you know, you got White on a 1-year deal, so he's not even going to be here next year, so you know that'd be a replacement right there. Your replacement's already in-house. And like you said, I love Davion Taylor. His problem is his health. You know, every time you see Davion go in a game, do anything productive, it's like the next game he's out. You know, and then he come back, you know, a couple of weeks later, he's productive again and he's out. So it's like, I think it's at that point where he's like Miles Sanders. You just got to stay healthy, stay on the field, you know, stack some games together, you know, so you can really see the talent that he has, you know. And Sean Bradley, I know he does good. He's a special teamer. You know, he does good on that special teams. And, you know, I've been waiting to see if he can crack the lineup, at least to get some kind of PT this year. You know, the Eagles are keeping him for a reason. We got Jacoby Stevens no one's talking about that's been out there in practice too. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's up with him? Are they keeping him at the linebacker this year? Is he going to play more of a hybrid role? You know, is he going to go back to safety? Like, what are we doing with Stevens? You know, we didn't see none of them except for the last game last year, you know, and that's not nothing. You know, your first game, you're probably not going to look that great out there on the field anyway. Besides, you're at a whole new position. So I'm interested to see how it turns out and like which linebackers we actually keep this year. You know, but the core as a whole has definitely improved and gotten a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, I think the linebackers are going to be on the roster, that are going to be on the 53. Obviously, Kaiser White, TJ Edwards, Hassan Reddick, he's technically that Sam linebacker, but he's an edge rusher. So, you know, because of Hassan Reddick's, you know, versatility, that'll give the Eagles an opportunity to probably add another defensive lineman, another D tackle, just to give them more depth at that position. or maybe bring in another position or another corner, because a guy like Hassan Reddick, he's so versatile. He's a linebacker and edge rusher, so he kind of fills two roles for you. You know what I mean? It gives you space to add another position, so you don't have to be oversaturated at one point. But yeah, I think the guys that make this roster from the linebacker position is Kaiser White, obviously, T.J. Edwards, Hassan Reddick, Davion Taylor, and Kobe Dean, and Sean Bradley. I think those are going to be the guys.
So 6.
So yeah, that is a total of 6 guys. Yeah, 6 linebackers total. Which I think, and because like when you put it into perspective, I like Kyron Johnson. That's my man. I think they may practice squad him. But then again, it all depends. It all depends how they build this roster on defense, because you have guys that are multiple guys that can do more than one thing. So, but I do think they keep 6 linebackers on the 53. And also in this modern NFL, right? You're seeing nickel formations. Like people say base formations are 4-3 or 3-4 or whatever, but really the base formation for all NFL teams are the nickel, because because it's a pass heavy league now, right? So they want to be able to have 2 linebackers on the field, have that additional DB. You know what I mean? And
it depends too, like how many defensive ends are you keeping? Because we got those linebackers, the Reddicks, the Karan Johnsons, the Patrick Johnsons. Those guys are linebackers, but they are pass rushing linebackers. So are they going to add a couple more linebackers, adding those guys in? Maybe have a couple less DNs. Just keep your solid base 4. Plus you got some D tackles I can play in too. So the way it's set up, like you said, we're going to be playing on multiple defense. If we're playing man right now, the Eagles are pushing multiple D. That's what they're pushing right now. They're pushing multiple D. They're going to use a little bit of everything, and depending on it's probably going to switch up week to week, depending on the fronts that we have to go against. The linemen we're going against. The weapons that we're going against. Are we trying to get more pass rush, or are we trying to stop the run? Like the Tennessee game, you're pretty sure they're going to be stacking the box there, running more of a 4-3 system going there to try to stop Derrick Henry and make sure he don't get off. So depending on the games and the team, just multiple defense going to come out. It's going to be, it's Gannon's time to, prove that he deserved the money he get, and he deserved to be a DT. A D coordinator in the NFL, and he deserved to get some of these nods at being a head coach. Because now you got the players. Now go out there and put it out on the field.
Yeah, I'm still on the fence about Gannon. He has to show me. I'll be honest with you. He has to show me. I'm obviously hoping for the best, right? I want him to be successful. But I do have my concerns, because it's not even the play calling, right? It's his philosophy. It's his approach to the game that concerns me. I need him to have a bit more of an aggressive mentality, right? I need him to want to dictate the pace rather than respond to the pace. You get what I mean? Too often we're playing from a play behind. It seems like this defense is always reacting instead of always, acting. We're always forced to have a counter punch instead of leading with our own jab, instead of leading with our own hook. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of taking a punch, just throw a punch. It's about time we deliver the punch, and then we bob and weave and continue to deliver and pound them to submission.
Ice like Tyson knocking fools out. For real, like I said, the best thing that Gannon could have did this offseason is to go back to the archives and pull up some Jim Johnson defense. Because like coaches got to realize the best coaches, a la, what's the dude, Bill Belichick, the best coaches take a little bit from everybody, and entwine into their game, and it's okay. Like I told everybody, if you bring this defense in, we play the exact same coverage as last year, the defense will look better because we have better talent on the defense. That's just point blank, period. But adding those wrinkles, go check out some Jim Johnson defense. See how he was bringing that pressure. See how he was so aggressive. Like you said, like we got a little too soft against, garbage quarterbacks or first year quarterbacks. And, we were getting lit up early in the season. I didn't like none of that. And it's like to be passive is one thing, to be protective. But I did notice a lot of the good teams in the NFL do play kind of this coverage defense too. It's not just the Eagles. I've seen a lot of them. I've seen Tampa Bay run it. I've seen a couple other teams run it, for sure. Like it's what the league's turned into, just to protect them from the big play touchdowns in this passing league. So, like I said, the talent's there to run your defense.
Right.
We can run it just like we did last year with some wrinkles in it. But you do definitely got to blitz more. I will say that. Get some more blitzes in there. Bring a little bit more pressure, and it's not even always about the blitz. Sometimes it's just a scheme. Line stunts. A defensive lineman stunts together. Co stunts. You know what I'm saying? So just get after the quarterback any way possible at the end of the day. But we definitely need to see a lot more aggression. But I think some of the players are just going to bring that automatically. Like you get a Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox, Rashawn Reddick. These boys are coming after the quarterback regardless on if the play called for them, to be in coverage or not. When they're on the field, they're going to be coming after the quarterback and they're going to do their job at a high level.
Yeah, with that aggression, right? If I'm being honest, I don't think he's going to blitz that much. And then I think that's where Hassan Reddick comes in. I think Gannon wants to get home with his front four. Every defensive coordinator would love to not have to blitz. You know what I mean? Because when you're blitzing, you have to send an extra guy, and then that means you're compromised from a coverage perspective. And I know Gannon wants to play zone, but we also can't get away from the man-to-man, right? Sometimes you got to make these quarterbacks throw a pinpoint pass. If you're playing zone all the time, the best of the best know how to pick that apart, a la Tom Brady. You know what I mean? So there are going to be games where your cornerbacks have to match and mirror these wide receivers. And the good thing about this season is that the best quarterback we go up against is Aaron Rodgers, and then there's a drop off. You see, after Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins. That's probably the best we go up against, after Aaron Rodgers, and that's later on in the season with Aaron Rodgers. And by then, I expect this defense to be even more solidified, even more cohesive than what they'll be when the season starts. But it's I'm going to be paying attention to how far the DBs are playing on the line of scrimmage. I'm going to be paying attention to how active these safeties are. We're going to know pretty early who Jonathan Gannon is, because when you have corners playing 5 to 10 yards off the line of scrimmage, you're literally telling the quarterback, okay, just keep dinking and dunking. And that's all they're going to do. Just dink and dunk you to death. And the bend but don't break defense. The bend but don't break defense. It's fine until you get into the red zone. You know what I'm saying? Because you're essentially allowing the quarterback to pretty much do what he wants, and you're expecting him to make a mistake. Well, the best of the best don't really make mistakes, especially if you're giving them the most space to get the job done. So, bend but don't break defense means nothing if they're driving on you and they're getting into the red zone, and you have to be able to be physical and force them to make mistakes. How do you do that? You have a defensive line that can get pressure, that can get sacks. They can wreak havoc and force quarterbacks off their spots, and that's what was missing from Jonathan Gannon's philosophy. His bend,
and it's the players too. At the end of the day, like you said, like we were looking at last year we brought in Harris, and he was hurt for the beginning of the season. He was hurt some in the beginning of the season, right? McLeod was down for a little bit last year, right? Linebackers, Davion Taylor couldn't stay on the field a lot of the time. We had some other linebackers that the two corner BG was out. The two other linebackers we thought were going to be good, and Wilson and Singleton end up bombing out and sucking. So that was another thing. We had a lot of things. Some DTs, wasn't playing to the ability that they were. Fletcher Cox wasn't playing at Fletcher Cox type level. Like there was a lot of different things that was really affecting that defense. Just like you can kind of go to the offensive side. Even with Jalen Hurts' production too. You know what I'm saying? Like we had two really good linemen go out very early in the season with Amala and Brooks. Like you gotta guess, will these players that you expect to fill the role, can they actually fill it with a high level? That's not really a coaching flaw. That's kind of a coach playing it safe because he's not 100% sure. We don't have enough tape on him. You haven't seen him person play that much. It's gonna make you hesitant to be like, all right, hold on. We're going to keep rolling like normal because these guys are in the game. You're going to have to sit there and wait. You're going to have to prove it to me. And as you've seen the season go along, we kind of opened it up, did it a little bit better. We were getting killed with the run early in the season. Towards the end of the season, we didn't get killed with the run no more. You know what I'm saying? All the top elite tight ends, we shut down. You know what I'm saying? None of them really balled out against us. It was kind of more of the no-namers that did their thing against us. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I think it was just a good mix of everything. That's what made last year such a learning experience for these guys. Like you got to do it. You got to see a lot of plus plays happen, without having your star players in. So your scheme's kind of moving in the right direction. all we had to do was go out there and pick up some more pieces. And we picked up a lot of good pieces this year. Not like we just added like the offense. Everybody's like, oh, we got all these new weapons. And we only really added like 2 guys or 1 guy.
No,
that's
right. One guy.
Yeah, one guy. And now all of a sudden we got all these weapons. He's like, yeah, I thought these guys were weapons last year. They just needed to develop. You know what I'm saying? Like they needed, Smitty needs some time. Wes needed a little bit more time. Even though these guys were getting open all year, Rager obviously needed some more time. But back to the defense side, man, like we upgraded the cornerback position. We got safeties. We got linebackers. We got defensive linemen. Like he got like at least 7, at least 5 new starters coming into the season than he had last year. That makes our defense that much more potent. And we ended up still 10th overall last year. That's pretty good for a subpar system and a subpar building year, as I say. That's what I like about the Eagles. It's like everything was in a building year. Trying to understand what we had, and it still turned out to be pretty good. We're still, middle of the pack, a little higher, in those different situations. So, man, I'm happy. I'm hoping to see everything happen this year. You know what I'm saying? Like my expectations for this defense is like, I put it in my chat on my channel. If you guys are on my channel, I'll put it in there. Do you think this is the best defense you ever seen before, as a Philadelphia Eagle fan? I'm like, don't go to picking great name players, because we had some great names, and like we haven't seen these people play or not together yet. But in terms of like on paper, going to depth that we have,
say that right. I think on paper, this might be the most cohesive defense we've had.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everything. See, like I'll be honest with you. I look at this Philadelphia Eagles roster in general, and it just seems like everything fits. That's what's, in my opinion, just it doesn't get talked about enough. I know we talk about the individual guys, right? Bradbury, Hassan Reddick, and what they need to do, Jordan Davis, but when you think about the way the team is built, it just seems like everything fits. Everybody has their role. Everyone has their various skill sets. No one really steps on the toes of another guy. Like you know how some teams you have too many of one type of player. Like the Philadelphia Eagles at the wide receiver position. I know we're talking about defense, but just for an example, with the wide receiver position, we had too many guys that were slim, guys that were just speed guys. We didn't have anyone physical, guys that are fearless catching the ball over the middle, guys that can catch the ball at the highest catch point. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have any bona fide chain movers. So I say that to say you have so many guys on this team that aren't necessarily the same, but they fit. It's like a puzzle. Every puzzle has its own unique shape, but it serves a purpose. It fits. And I think that's going to be the most dynamic part of this defense, the fact that everything fits and we have depth. Like we're deep, man. We're deep. Like, I'll be honest with you. I don't think the Eagles are, how can I put this I don't think the Eagles have the best player at any position, but we have, but we have a lot of guys that are very, very, very good that fit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love Darius Slay, but he's not the best corner in the NFL, right? I love Hassan Reddick, but he's not the best edge rusher. I love AJ Brown, but I don't think he's the best wide receiver. I love Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave, Jordan Davis, but I don't think they're the best D tackles. Josh Sweat, I love him, but I don't think he's the best edge rusher. TJ Edwards.
Did you ever think that Fletcher was the best DT in the game? I know it's always 1-2. What are you going?
That's a really good topic.
It's kind of like quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you saying like Lamar Jackson?
Really quickly, I gotta give you flowers real quick. I gotta give you flowers. That's a really good topic. Was Fletcher Cox ever, or did we ever think Fletcher Cox was the best D tackle in the NFL? But go ahead.
I was gonna say it's kind of like, what was I just saying? Dang, you made me lose.
My bad, bro. I was just, I get fascinated by certain questions. Like, that was just a really good question, and I never gave it that much thought. Like Fletcher Cox, and hopefully I jog your memory, right? But
because you got the best. It's kind of, that's what I was gonna say. It's kind of like quarterback. Like Lamar Jackson won MVP, right? He was a rushing quarterback, You get the guy like Tom Brady win MVP. You know what I'm saying? That's a passing quarterback. It's the same thing. It's like who was good that season. I think for sure, especially I think Fletch was in the league before Aaron Donald, and I think before Aaron Donald was there, Fletch was the most dominating DT in the game. Like I think he was personally, and I think even when Aaron Donald was there, he still is.
Though. You know what I'm saying? Like, did he reach his? Did he reach his peak? Because when did
he ever win a defensive player of the year?
No, he didn't. But I think Fletcher was an All-Pro before.
Yes, I know he's been All-Pro. I think he had 3 times.
He has 1 All-Pro and 6 Pro Bowls.
Oh, 1?
Yeah, just 1. Yeah, but he has a few second-team All-Pros. So, all right, I'm going to tell you this right now. So, all right, so he has a okay, so he was All-Pro in 2018, I believe. Yeah, he was an All-Pro in.
Cox in his prime was one of the greatest.
He was an All-Pro in 2018, but he also has a bunch of second-team All-Pros. You know what I'm saying? And it's more than just one publication that votes on all pros. You have you have the Pro Bowl, you have the Pro Football Writers, you have the Associated Press. You know what I'm saying? Those are the 2 main groups that vote on all pros. And if you look at throughout his entire career, really, he's been an All Pro almost every single year of his career. He has All Pro selections and
every year.
Well, okay, so again, like there's
probably said what 20.
So 2014, he was considered to be a first-team All-Pro according to Pro Football Writers. He was second-team All-Pro because the NFL only acknowledges the Associated Press. So in 2014, he was a second. So I'll read this. So I'll read the AP votes because that's what the NFL acknowledges, right? In 2014, he was a second-team All-Pro. 2015, second-team All-Pro. 2017, he was. I'm sorry, scratch that. 2017, he was a second-team All-Pro. 2018, he was a first-team All-Pro. And yeah, that was the last time he made an All-Pro team according to the Associated Press. But overall, Fletcher Cox, he's been top 5, top 3, arguably defensive tackle, and since he's been in the NFL. But that leads me to want to talk about Jordan Davis, right? Jordan Davis has potential to be better than him. I'll be totally honest. Like Jordan Davis just strikes me as a player that he gets it, and Jordan Davis wants to be the best. And what's going to only help him is the fact that he's next to guys like Fletcher Cox, next to guys like Javon Hargrave that are going to help instill those pass rush techniques to his game.
Yeah, I think Jordan Davis is about to be the best defensive lineman ever.
It's
for real. Like it's not even just a total tone. Like people are really missing out.
It's very possible that he can end up being one of the best D tackles to play his game in the past 10 years. For sure, it's possible.
It's Cox and Donald together in one.
Say it again.
You got the athleticism of Aaron Donald, the speed and athleticism of Aaron Donald, and you got the big physicality, and you're even bigger than Fletcher Cox. That's like putting both of them together. Now you got a player right there. People aren't really realizing how much of a cheat code size is. Size and speed. Yeah. You can't coach that. Aaron Donald's what, 6'2"?
He's small. He's like 6'1", 6 feet. He's small. He's not that big.
A beast because of speed. Now you got a guy that Fletcher Cox looks small next to freaking Jordan Davis. Look like his little brother. So now you got a guy that's a monster like Calais Campbell's size with Aaron Donald's athleticism. You don't coach that. That your floor when you're a guy like Jordan Davis. That's why you heard people say they've never seen a DT come into the league like this. You can't name me another Jordan Davis on anybody's roster.
Yeah, I get what you mean, right? The thing about Aaron Donald is he's a unicorn. He's smaller, but he's so strong, so athletic, and it's going to take a lot for someone to rival his career. He has multiple defensive players of the year, led the league in sacks at one point. Super Bowl champion, multiple All Pros. Like Fletcher Cox was never better than Aaron Donald, but. Fletcher Cox, in my opinion, Fletcher Cox has always been the second best D tackle in the NFL.
Yeah, and ain't nothing wrong with that.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. There's there's so many players in this league. There's 32 NFL teams, and most teams play 2D. Most teams, all teams really have 2D tackles on the defensive line. So you can say there's 64 starting D tackle positions in the NFL, and you have the second best. I don't think that's bad at all.
Yeah, and like I said, back to Davis is like,
yeah,
he has more than just that plant going on him. He's getting iron, sharpening iron, going against the great Jason Kelce, going against a good left guard that's a huge man in Landon Dickerson, Sam Malu. Even you can put him outside and let him work with another guy his size and a Jordan Mailata. Like those guys are about the same size over there. And that's why Jordan's so good. Jordan's so good because he's such an imposing force. He has speed and size. That's why everybody started to say, "Oh, Jordan Mailata is about to be, all pro left tackle for years to come," because you don't teach that. And when they finally do get it, they get it and it's over. Like the guy, he's got size, he got physicality. I know a lot of people say he took plays off in college, but it's college for one.
See, I don't like that narrative because I don't think that's entirely true.
Yeah.
I think the fact of the matter is he only had to play a certain amount of snaps because of the defense he was on. And at the end of the day, you're only going to be conditioned to you're only going to be prepared from a condition perspective based off of what you do. And if he's never had to play over 50 or 60% of the snaps, his body's not going to be used to doing that at all. So he had to have to. So your body's naturally not going to, your motor is naturally not going to be as high, right? But I think the more he that motor is going to get up as the season progresses. Watch.
Yeah, and the fact that he's motivated, like he said, he's not in college anymore. He's working out. He's working hard. You know what I'm saying? He got smaller. He's more in shape. He's bigger than he's ever been in his life. He's still a growing young man. Like he's not even going to stop growing for like another 5 years. So God knows what he's going to be like 5 years from now. We won't go that far into the future, but just think about it, guys. You got some of the best defensive linemen to teach you, and that's the main thing. Not only do you have experienced, Pro Bowl linemen to go against, but you got, experienced pro defensive linemen to teach you. Reddick's been in the Pro Bowl. Cox been in the Pro Bowl. Harvey Pro Bowl. BG Pro Bowl. Sweat Pro Bowl. These are all bona fide Pro Bowlers, studs. You know what I'm saying? That's who you're learning from. It's not like you're the best guy on a team coming in and you're just the best on that D line. So you're not really learning. You might be learning some technique or something from the guy next to you, but you're not learning it from a guy that's actually produced at a high level. Fletcher Cox produces at a high level. You know what I'm saying? Hargrave, high level. Those are your mentors that are right in front of you, teaching you on a day in, day out basis. And we don't have selfish players on our team. These guys want to teach you. They understand that, at least Fletch understands he only got a couple more years left, whether it's on the Eagles or not. You know what I'm saying? He's about the end of his career. So, of course, he wants to give you every secret. And if he giving you every secret and he was number 2 in the league for 10 years, then, hey, you got a great mentor and you're going to be all right, my guy. So I think that a lot of these young players, they really need to embrace having these veterans. I heard Sirianni talking about they got like goats, eagle goats at least, teaching them in front of them. So that's not like they're forced into being these superstar players. The pressure's off of them, especially if you keep Jordan Davis at number 2 spot. Let him be on that second rotation line with a guy like Milton Williams, who's also like, hey, guys, don't forget about me. I was a rookie last year, and I still made plays. Check me out this year. I'm going to get better. I'm going into my second year in the same defense. You know what I'm saying? I'm catching my stride. He was also another one of them players that putting in that work. So, to have 2 back-to-back lineups, Milton Williams, Fletcher Cox, Hargrave, you can mix it up. Imagine, people keep talking about Jordan replacing Fletcher. What if you put them both in at the same time? What if Fletcher Cox is having another all-pro season? And Hargrave's the one that's kind of taking a step back, or even just playing consistent football. And Jordan Davis leapfrogs Hargrave, and now it's Hargrave and Milton on the second rotation, and Jordan Davis and Fletcher. That's a size upgrade. You know what I'm saying? Because I think Fletcher's bigger than Hargrave. And now you got Jordan Davis replacing him. Now you got both of your biggest guys on that line together, destroying, wrecking havoc. Man, that'd be crazy to think about.
Yeah, hey, listen, make sure you guys smash that like button. You guys are tuned into the Bird Brains podcast. He's BG31. I'm your boy Tone DeShields II. Still waiting on our guy One Chair Rock to hop into the building. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Listen, the like button is gold. The like button really helps the content grow. It really helps in the algorithms, helps the YouTube channel grow. It allows more people to find the live chat, and the more people that are in the live chat, the more spicy, the more aggressive, the more electric the live chat will be. So please, you guys, understand your power as consumers. Understand your power as people who support your favorite YouTubers. Support your favorite team by supporting your favorite content creators, and you do that by hitting that like button. Like I said, the
hit that
like button is magic, you guys. You like, I don't know if you guys understand. The like button does so much for YouTubers, and it really helps channels grow. Helps new people find the channel. It helps the live stream pop up in search, in searches. So, guys, understand your power. Smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channels as well. Chalk It Up Sports. Make sure you're subscribed to BIRDGANG 31, the BGN Network, One Trey Rock. But also make sure the push notifications on. Make sure you have your notification bells on, so whenever we post, it lets you know whenever we drop content. Even if you're in the gym, if you're working out, if you're busy, whatever it is, you're never going to miss content, because you're going to know whenever we go live. Just hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed, and also make sure the notification bell is on. But you said something really interesting, right? About Jordan Davis not even having to come in right away and be the guy because of the people he's next to, right? But I want to look at it from this perspective. I agree with you, by the way, but I want to also look at it from this side of the coin, right? We've been talking about what Fletcher Cox is going to do for Jordan Davis's game, but I don't think we're talking about what Jordan Davis is going to do for Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave's game. Javon Hargrave is playing for a contract. Fletcher Cox still thinks he, has something to prove, because he feels like he has a lot left in the tank. And the Philadelphia Eagles drafted his future replacement, and having a guy like that behind you, a young guy that is eventually going to come for your spot, that motivates you even more to show the city, show your GM, show your coach that, hey, I still got it. So I think it's so dope how this team was built, because you have guys in positions that are pushing guys just by their mere presence. N'Kobe Dean is pushing TJ Edwards. You know what I'm saying? He's pushing Davion Taylor. Jordan Davis is pushing Fletcher Cox, pushing Javon Hargrave. You know what I'm saying? And another on a sidebar, I think their ability to just learn from each other is going to be huge. And the fact that you have so much depth in that defensive line, you're going to be able to rotate guys. You're going to be able to keep guys fresh. This is going to be a lethal pass rush. They just got to be able to get home and close the deal.
And like we said about the receiver, like we have so many different types of them. It's the same way on that defensive line, man. We got so many different types. You know what I'm saying? The big old school veteran Fletcher Cox. Hargrave's a little bit smaller, more shiftier, more a pass rushing type of DT. And then you got Jordan Davis that can do both. And then you got Milton Williams, that strength, that run stop in DT too, a little bit smaller, but his strength and his awareness really puts him in the right place at the right time. Like, that's the beauty of our whole team this year. That, I know I've seen some people in the chat, like, they can't say that this is the best defense. You only can say it on paper and all
that's
that.
That's what we're talking about, right? That's the whole point of the conversation. That's what we're saying. They had to put it together, obviously, but they got to put it together.
But most teams, like the on paper thing for me, it's like it's cool, but at the real in the day, that's all it is that you get your team better. Like every other team that went out there and make big moves like that for a team, their team got better.
Like really quickly, live chat. Ask yourselves this, and sorry to cut you off, BG, but I need the live chat to actually, there's no reason to be pessimistic about this. You can be realistic for sure, but there's no reason to be pessimistic. You know why? Ask yourself, has this defense gotten better? Yes or no? Compared to last year, matter of fact, let me ask you from this perspective, from this angle, has the talent gotten better compared to 2021 to now? Has the talent gotten better? If you can say yes to that, this defense will only be improved, because Jonathan Gannon, we still have the same defensive coordinator. If the talent gets better, then you're going to have more impact players. You're going to have guys that are going to make more plays. You're going to have guys that you're going to have guys that are able to influence that are going to be able to influence the outcome of the game much more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. That's exactly what I was getting at. It's like all them teams, when the Rams did it, won a Super Bowl. When the Tampa Bay did it, won a Super Bowl. everybody didn't say this before. Oh well, they got to gel together. They got to gel together. For they seen the talent that was added to the teams, and they knew that. Like when the Rams got Stafford, they've been actually building on that a couple years before that. But then, especially when they got guys like Von Miller, OBJ, and added those type of talent, I knew from that point on, you might as well lock up a Super Bowl because the talent over exceeded the average of talent on everybody else's roster.
Mhm.
And that's what you're really looking at. Look at our roster and you put it against everybody else's roster out there. And I think that's where you really start seeing and realizing the differences. We got a roster that is unmatchable almost. You know what I'm saying? From veterans to young studs to, future stars to guys in the prime of their career to guys that haven't even hit the prime of their career and they're already playing at high levels. Like, that is the difference from this team and those teams. And that is one of the reasons why I'm going to continue to say the Eagles are Super Bowl contenders. And we definitely got an elite defense. So that defense, I think as much as everybody want to see this offense, I think that defense is going to be the one carrying us for the most part.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Shout out to my boy Jersey Boy with the $5 super chat. Really appreciate you, my man. Always supporting the channel. One of their OGs, one of the originals that's that's been supporting me since I started my channel in 2018. Well, 2020. Since I started my sports channel in 2020, man. Shout out to Jersey Boy that's always been rocking with me and been locked in on the content, man. He says, who are the surprise players on offense and defense in camp? Also, what are realistic expectations for Hurts to get a contract, and can we win the division, playoffs? What are your thoughts? Well, Jersey Boy, you hit on a lot, right? You touched on a handful of things that we definitely want to get into. For starters, let's start. Let's answer your first question, right? Who are the surprise players on offense and defense in camp? I think a surprise player on defense in particular, Marcus Epps. I think Marcus Epps is going to take his game to a level that we haven't even seen before. Marcus Epps has been playing in training camp with the physicality that's just been unmatched. I don't know if you guys realize this, but most of the injuries that have happened to the Philadelphia Eagles, any player that's been injured on the offense, Marcus Epps, it's because Marcus Epps hit him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm be honest with you, Boston Scott has a concussion because of Marcus Epps. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying it's good, but my point is Marcus Epps.
It's good, baby.
He's playing right.
They got them condoms on their head and they still get concussions.
He's playing with the level of physicality that can't be unmatched. And Marcus Epps has just taken his body, his athleticism, his conditioning to another level. I think I started saying this a couple weeks ago, and this is a hot take, but I think Marcus Epps will lead this team in interceptions. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm jumping out the window saying that. I think Marcus Epps will lead this team in interceptions. And then as far as your other question, the offense, surprise players, I have another hot take as far as that. I think Kenny Gainwell will have more touchdowns than Miles Sanders.
You did say that.
Yeah. Like, I know that's a hot take for some people. But I try to put it in perspective. Like, Nick Sirianni wants Kenny Gainwell to be his third down back. He wants him to be his red zone back, a guy that can be used in the passing game, man. I just feel like Kenny Gainwell is going to be used the way Nick Sirianni wants to use his running back. And unless Miles Sanders can show that he's just as violent in that passing game like he is in the running game, I think Kenny Gainwell is going to have more opportunities to get touchdowns because we're going to try to pass more. And I just think Kenny Gainwell has a nose for the end zone. He has vision that I like. And he takes advantage of his opportunities. Your other question, realistic expectations for Hurts to get a contract. It's kind of hard to say that for the simple fact that Hurts. We still need to find out what he is this season as well. We know we saw last year, right, BG? But we need to know we need to know what exactly he will be. With this plethora of weapons. How good will he be having a defense that actually can get physical, that actually has talent, right? I think at this point, if I was to pay Jalen Hurts today, he's not getting more than $30 million. If I was to pay him today, he's not getting anything. I wouldn't pay him 30. He'd probably get like just under 30 million if I was to pay him today. And if this team can win the division, see, it starts with the division. Win the division first, and then take things from there, right? If we win the division, then you get into the big dance and you can write your own ticket. And at that point, it's any given Sunday. Win your division. And then at that point, we can go as far as Jalen Hurts to take us.
Yeah, and to answer the question, offensively, I think my hot take is Quez Watkins is going to be our 1,000-yard receiver. With all You got to look at it. You know,
That's
people.
scorching, BG. That's
That's hot.
scorching. That's scathing. That's
Yeah.
that's magma.
But I'm gonna tell you why. You know, you're gonna have to stop our run game for the first part. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders game. Well, these guys are gonna do their thing on the ground. And then when you think about the receiving targets, you're thinking about AJ Brown. You're thinking about Devontae Smith. You're gonna make sure that you have to stop those guys first. And then Goddard, because he is becoming one of the better tight ends in the league. So you got to stop Goddard. That's already too many people. You know what I'm saying? Like Quez Walker is going to be on third stream cornerbacks. You know, Quez Walker is going to be playing on linebackers. Linebackers will be playing on them. Safeties. None of these guys got the speed to keep up with a guy like Quez
should
Walker.
really be open all day, bro. I'm not like Quez
he should be open all day. All day. So I think that's my surprise, you know, breakout player. That's definitely going to be surprise a lot of people this year. Plus, he had over 700 yards last year, and you know Jalen missed him a couple times.
He had 640, something like that, 650. Something.
Yeah. Defense, surprise player on defense. I'm gonna have to keep it with Davion Taylor, man. I'm not Davion Taylor. TJ Edwards, because yes, he started last year, but I really felt like
he's going to be great. I think he'll be so good this year, bro. I think TJ Edwards is going to be good this year, man.
The only linebacker we're really hearing about doing great is TJ. You know, I thought, you know, after the draft, with the people we got signed on it, you start hearing a little bit less of TJ Edwards and start hearing more other names. And it's been the exact opposite. Now you still only hear TJ Edwards is balling out every practice. And that's definitely a surprise for me. So those will be my two surprise players. Jalen Hurts, realistic expectation for Jalen Hurts to get a contract. He's getting one. Now, it's how smart Howie want to be. What kind of game does Howie want to play in terms of this contract? Do you want to go ahead and do what you do best, sign him to a nice deal early? You know, I think if Jalen's smart, he'd take a 3-4 year, $30 million a year contract with most of it guaranteed. You know, just so it gives you another 3 years to see him and then go for your big time. You know, by then you'll be a superstar in the league. Now you can get that, command that big money. Or Howie can let him play the season out, which I think he's going to be an MVP candidate by the end of the season. And that's going to be a lot more money you got to give him. You know, now you're talking to $40 million. If he is an MVP candidate next year, you're going to have to re-up him with a $40 million. 50, you know, somewhere up there in that top 5 to 10 quarterback range money. And I think that's not a smart decision for our team as a whole. You know, if you're looking out for the team, you know, as a whole, you go ahead and, you know, sign him early where he hasn't proved it yet. You know, you've seen greatness. You see the signs of him going towards that direction, but you want to actually see him do it. You know, that's a difference. Either you wait, you see him do it, now you got to pay more, or you just continue the faith that you put into this team and that you put into him already, and you pay him early before he puts those numbers up and save the team some salary cap room so we don't be in salary cap hell.
Yeah, you know, like I've been thinking about this, right? And
Super Bowl, the last one. Super Bowl, baby. Super Bowl. That's where we're going. We're getting another rain this year.
Yeah. Lord willing, man. A lot has to go your way. But you know, I've been thinking about his contract a lot lately, and the quarterback position is such an interesting position because you got to make sure if you're paying that guy, you trust him, you believe in him. And I think Howie Roseman is going to really wait as long as he like. All right, I'll put you this way: those first 6 to 8 weeks, those like the first half of the season, those first 6 to 8 weeks are going to tell us a lot about Jalen Hurts, and it's going to tell us a lot about where this organization sees him. I think if Howie Roseman is going to pay him early, it's not going to be until we see him win against certain teams. Like if Howie Roseman's going to pay him early, he has to beat the Cowboys, right? He has to beat the Cardinals. He has to beat the Vikings. You know what I'm saying? Those are the key. I mean, obviously he has to beat the teams he's supposed to beat, but I think he needs to show he can beat the high quality opponents in, you know, Dallas and Arizona, you know, Vikings, you know, teams like that. He needs to show that he can beat those teams. So I don't think they pay him early per se, but I think they will pay him if they are going to offer him a contract. It's not going to be before week 8. It's not going to be before the bye week. If they do pay him, it's going to happen around that time, bye week afterwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like how Joseph Tattoos signed by week 5. Because like you just said, it'd be good to watch him beat those teams. But every single one of those teams, if he beat them in impressive form, where he's having 300-yard games and 80, 50 to 100 yards on the ground too in those games, man. Every time he does it, that contract goes up. You know what I'm saying? Like every game, every week, it's gonna be there's another 2 million we're gonna have to add. Oh, there's another 5 million. You know what I'm saying? To the point where you're gonna have to end up giving them. The longer you wait, the more money you gotta give them. And I'm just saying, just to smart like Jalen. Like I feel, that's just me because I'm an Eagles fan. I'm a huge Jalen Hurts supporter, and I believe that he's already earned his contract. You know what I'm saying? We crowned Carson Wentz before he did this good. We crowned all of our old past previous quarterbacks that were star quarterbacks for our team. We crowned them already at this point, and Jalen's had better stats than all of them. So I don't know what's the problem with crowning him now. What the
Jalen
big
Hurts
deal about
hasn't
it?
delivered. Jalen Hurts, in my humble opinion, I think the reality is Jalen Hurts hasn't delivered anything close to what Carson did in 2017. I mean, I have to be honest about that. Carson
We
Wentz
got to
was
realize
the
that was Carson's second year starting under the offense.
right. That was the
So
second year.
he had
Carson
Jalen Hurts
got
had to
paid a
get
couple
his
years after
second year
that.
starting the same offense. And I get you on that.
But,
That year, Carson Wentz was MVP candidate.
right.
But we gotta wait. I think that's what this year's about. It's the same kind of progression. You seen Carson from year 1, year 2. I'm just saying, like Jalen, like most quarterbacks, not just Jalen. From Allen's to Rodgers even. Like Rodgers didn't play for a couple years, but like all the great quarterbacks, it took him time to be great.
Really quickly, I completely forgot. Kareem Sawyer, thank you so much. I totally forgot. He's not eligible to sign a contract until the end of the year. Completely forgot about that. So there, yeah. I knew that. I don't know why I thought it was otherwise. Shout out to Kareem Sawyer.
Shout out to you for that one.
Yeah, appreciate you, Kareem. I completely nixed on that. Yeah.
Can the player get an extension anytime?
No, not when you're still on the rookie deal. You have to wait until I mean, he's on a second round contract, right? So it's a 4-year deal. He's not eligible to sign an extension until after that, at the end of the 3rd season. So regardless, their price is going to be what it's going to be.
He said, I thought they can't give him a contract after the season. Well, hey, right. Then I guess that part doesn't even matter. He's gonna get paid a fat contract anyway. Because I still
made a little bit of mistake. You guys had we talk about a lot. We cover a lot. So that's one nuance we forgot. My bad, you guys.
Hey, and that's what we love you guys about. You guys are there on it. Hey guys, remember this? Okay, thank you. Now I remember it. That's good stuff right there. That's good stuff.
That's why we love you guys. They have power. Like this power. Mm-hmm. Like if you don't realize it, man, you guys have power. You guys, can hold us accountable. If we, if we slip up, you guys, fill in the gaps for us. You guys are a part of the content. When the well runs dry, you guys come right back and you guys, quench our thirst. You get what I'm saying? So you guys are truly a part of this team. You guys are truly a part of this thing we're building here. Just make sure you're subscribed, to Chalk It Up Sports. Make sure you are subscribed to BIRDGANG 31 just to make sure you're a part of the team, man. You don't want to get left behind. Smash that like button and subscribe.
Hit that like. You should have over 45 likes on every channel. You know what I'm saying? If you got to do your part. But much love to you guys. Get around and do your thing, man. Yes. But that's crazy. So then that means no matter what. But then I'm not really worried about the salary cap too. Every year it's going to go up about $25 million. So
we're going to have a lot of money next year.
So we're going to have a lot of money moving forward. And it's going to start getting to the other sports where you'll be able to keep your team. If you really want to keep those players, you're going to be able to have enough money on your salary cap to keep your prime players. So we can start getting more dynasties in the league. A lot of times we know when a team wins a Super Bowl, half their roster's gone the next year because you can't afford to bring all of them back, the good ones back. So that's also going to help out this NFL as a whole. I think that's going to be beneficial for the Philadelphia Eagles because we got a lot of young talent, man. Like I keep saying, like how we built the team back in 2017 as opposed to the way he built the team this year. It's like he went for young studs instead of, old veteran players at the end of their ropes type players that come in here and bring on to the squad. Even though it worked that way, I think he understands now this is how you build that dynasty. You go the same route, you get those studs, but now you go younger and you can keep them around a little bit longer. And that'll make our team good for a lot longer moving forward. So,
Yeah, and Iron Mizzle brought up a good point, right? He says, I think Hurts will do a team-friendly deal. He's a humble dude. Now, look, don't get it twisted, right? He's gonna want to get his money, but I think what's going to happen is like you said, the contract is going to be team-friendly. Like there's going to be nuances in that deal. It's going to be structured in a way just because of who the type of person. I think Jalen Hurts understands that he's only is. There are some quarterbacks that are cocky, and they just think that they're like, for example, there are some players that think they're the engine behind everything, like Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray did not take a team friendly deal at all. That I think they're going to regret that contract in the long run. But the difference between Jalen Hurts and Kyler Murray. Jalen Hurts is supremely a team guy, and Jalen Hurts may not be as talented as Kyler Murray right now in terms of just how just in terms of like how they butted as talent. So I think Jalen Hurts is still blooming. But I think Jalen Hurts is going to take a deal that that reflects how he sees himself within his organization. He understands that he's only as good as the pieces around him. Jalen Hurts strikes me as that kind of guy. He's only as good as the pieces around him.
I call it the Tom Brady effect. Tom Brady won them Super Bowl because he understood. He's
not
only
not many quarterbacks play that. Not many quarterbacks. Unfortunately, not many quarterbacks see it that way.
Yeah, it's very few of them. I only really know Tom Brady because he's the only one that I know of that's been putting up that many Super Bowls back to back. Like what I'm saying, like that, and it's the career that he's had. And I think it was that key point of realizing you don't have to be the number one highest paid quarterback. The smart quarterbacks will do that. You can be the top 10 quarterback. Guess what? You're still set. You still got a fat contract. It's still awesome. Brady wasn't taking pennies.
Right.
He just knew that he took, nice friendly deals, add a little bit more in a sign-in bonus. So I can get the money up front type deals to the point where now your salary cap is being affected to the point where you can't keep reloading every single year. And I think if Hurts is smart with the young talent we got on this team, he'll go ahead and do the same thing. Imagine he's like even next year having 2 first-round picks. Now you the guy. You don't have to use that quarterback. Whatever was your weak spot, even if we win a Super Bowl, you can let maybe an older free agent go. You can let a couple of guys go to go ahead and add and draft new players to replace them next year in the draft, with a team-friendly contract from Jalen Hurts, and maybe add a couple more pieces.
Yeah, man. Jersey Boy brought up a good point. He says, this defense will be the strength of the team. And I think he has a good point. Think about that Super Bowl, right? It wasn't really the most dynamic game from an offensive perspective. The defenses dictated that game. The Los Angeles Rams won that Super Bowl because of their defense. Let's be totally honest. I mean, I know Matthew Stafford had that drive where he threw the ball every single play. I think it was like a 16 or 17 play drive, something like that. Cooper Kupp got hot, but the defense won that game for them. Think about the way the San Francisco 49ers beat the Green Bay Packers, right? In the playoffs. I mean, it was, the special teams did their job, but also defense kept them at bay. You dig what I'm saying?
Yes.
There are certain games where it's just a shootout, like that Bills and Chiefs game. It was a shootout. Those games happen, but you can't go wrong when you have a defense that has impact players, guys that are able to make a difference. We didn't have that many guys like that last year. You have guys on this roster that can make a difference now. And to your point about, next year and losing guys, and look, for example, the linebacker room is set up to be good. The linebacker room is set up to be good for quite some time. The linebacker room actually has, the linebacker room is filled with a bunch of 1-year deals. TJ Edwards still on a 1-year deal. I'm curious to know if they're going to extend him. You still got a Kobe Dean, Kaiser White's on a 1-year deal. Davion Taylor, I think he's entering the 3rd year of his contract or something like that. But my point is, you have guys on this team in the linebacker room that you can extend and bring them back. And even if you don't bring Kaiser White back, right, you still got the Kobe Dean. You still got Davion Taylor. Like, we're going to be good at the linebacker position because those guys are only going to get better.
Yeah, facts. But I like it, the 1-year deals. I think that 1-year deals were signs of, you look at guys like Bradley, Davion, a couple of these other young bucks over there, and you're like, I think they got it. They just need another year, So let's go ahead and get these guys that we know can come in and play football. But next year, maybe we won't have to get that position, re-upped on because these guys will be there, and it's time for them to actually take that lead and take that next step. And hopefully it even starts to show this year. We're going to see if they can come in and beat these guys. That's what, like you said, talent makes talent better. You know what I'm saying? Iron sharpens iron. So if you got more talent in front of you, that for sure talent that they just signed in front of you doesn't mean you can't play. It means you got to put out more effort to get your spot. And I like that competition, about the Eagles. I like that. It goes on throughout our whole roster. That's what kind of situation our whole roster is on. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's got to beat out that young guy. The veterans got to beat that young guy out of keep taking their spot. Or, that young guy trying to beat out a veteran that's in the spot. So that's nothing going to make our team that much more better. And I think that's ultimately the reason why we're going to be a dominating defense this year.
Yeah, for sure. You know what's interesting, right? Joseph Theis said if White has the year we are expecting, we will resign him. You know what's really interesting about that? Whoever has the better year out of TJ Edwards and Kaiser White, that person gets the contract, and the other person, gets the boot, and then the Kobe Dean fills in the gaps, and then you got Davion Taylor still. So like my thing is like, I think if I had to really bet on it, I think TJ Edwards is more likely to get an extension before Kaiser White, because TJ Edwards, he knows the system. He's been with this team, and I just think TJ Edwards, I think he's a younger guy, a little younger, and I just think TJ Edwards just is only getting better. Like he's a guy. He's so smart at that linebacker position. You can't underestimate and undervalue what he does in a run, in run defense. He understands angles. He has great instincts. People forget he was a star linebacker in Wisconsin. The only reason he didn't get drafted is because he had that bad 40-yard dash time. Other than that, he was runner up for the Dick Butkus Award, I think, behind Roquan Smith. If I'm not mistaken. So, it's just the fact that this team has flexibility. They have I've never felt so comfortable with the Philadelphia Eagles. It's been a long time since I've been this comfortable with this team. I felt this secure with the team.
Yeah, I've never felt this confident going into the season. Like as a season where I've been in seasons where we start to get better and better. Even at 17 years, like okay, here we go. Okay, yeah, watch out, we coming. But this year it's like we were months away from the season. I'm like, we getting to go in the Super Bowl, my God. Like, do you not see this? Things are about to go down. Like, greatest show on turf on offense, dominating D on defense. Like, what's going to stop us? You're going to need to, they're going to have to be catastrophic injuries, because we got depth too. So they're going to be like a lot of key players. You need like 5-6 key players to go down. And knock on wood, hope that does not happen. You know what I'm saying? But man, this team is stacked, man. Like iron sharper iron. Like, who's gonna stop this Eagles team? I think personally, you have to really think about it. And I know I think about it a lot because I've been trying to go through teams and really see which ones have this depth. Even like people earlier was like, yeah, what about the '80s defenses? I go, yeah, those teams had Jerome Brown, Reggie White. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had key players that were dominant, but in terms of overall defense, depth in all positions, no, I haven't seen a defense like this before in my long Eagles career. I'll be 41 on Tuesday, God willing. And man, I've been watching the Eagles for most of those years. So it's like I've never seen a complete defense like this to have every single spot. There's always been a couple of guys like you had your Indy Kalus and Corey Simons, and like guys that were just good at what they do, as opposed to being actually like high level type players that you can possibly see inside Pro Bowls and whatnot like that. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here, man. Definitely going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, man.
We got Jeff Van in the building.
Hey, what's going on? Jets game, to answer your question, I'm glad you brought that up because I'm actually going to be at the game tomorrow. I'm going to be at the preseason. Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, me and my dad and my brother, we're going. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it, man. It's going to be so good to be back, be back in the link. Hey, listen, I'm looking forward to if any of you guys are going to the game, I'm looking forward to running into some of you guys. Listen, if you see me, don't hesitate to say what's up, man. Don't run up on me. Say what's up. Don't sneak up on me. Call from a distance.
You might get clocked. Even Philly, y'all. Even Philly.
I got my bodyguards with me. You know what I'm saying? So, and they got a ball head. Right. But yeah, listen, I'm going to be at the preseason opener tomorrow against the New York Jets. I do believe that we are going to play some starters for about a couple series. But yeah, if you guys see me, hey, look, man, like don't hesitate to say what's up, you guys. I'm going to be at that game tomorrow. And I'm really looking forward to just being back in the atmosphere of the Lincoln Financial Field. It's just Oh man, I'm going to be looking forward to tailgating a little bit. You know, I'm man, oh
Like,
man,
I'm battling right now to at least make 2 home games this year. I can't tell you guys which 2 it is. You know, like I said, I just got a new promotion, so they got me working like crazy. But I will go to 2 of
man,
them.
tell me about it, man.
You know what I'm saying? I will go to 2 of them. And like when I get there in Philly, we podcasting live. You know what I'm saying? Tailgating live streams before the game, after the game, like
Yeah.
from the parking lot.
Yeah, the
You know
last
what I'm
game
saying?
I
That's
went
the
to.
kind of stuff I'm talking about doing.
Yeah,
So.
for sure. And guess what? You know, it's not even about the production value, right? It's about being able to have a camera. If you got a camera and the little tripod, you hold. Listen, bro. The last game I went to the last game of the season where we played the Cowboys, and you know, I mean, I didn't expect to win that game because I knew we weren't playing starters, but you know, it was just an amazing atmosphere, man. And you know, I live streamed like most of that game. It was so dope, and I was there. I was able to give the people a good view. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just man, I love the Eagles. I love going to Eagles games, bro, because
I think it's a home game, Joseph.
I feel like I feel like I'm going to a gladiator event. Like it just seems like, you know, you see these guys come out, the music is loud, the people are loud. You smell the chicken fingers, you smell the French fries, you smell the popcorn. You smell the Bud Light. You know what I'm saying? You see guys throwing up in the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Like you smell the soft pretzels. It's just such a dope experience, man. I love getting that whole vibe. And also another dope thing about the preseason game tomorrow, they're going to be giving out free Brian Dawkins posters at the end of the game.
What?
Yeah, they're going to be exclusive Weapon X posters.
Oh man,
yeah, they're gonna be pretty cool. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can show you what it looks like, man. It's
that'd be
pretty
sick.
Dope.
Especially because you know Brian might even be there. If you can get one of those posters to get him to sign it, now you're really in the game.
That'd be crazy, bro.
Yeah, watch out for the Lions. That was a good one.
No. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of where he is. Like I'm
on it. Like I don't think we're gonna blow out the Lions like we did last year. They definitely got better this year.
I think we're gonna beat them for sure, but
we're gonna beat them.
I don't want the Eagles to sleepwalk in that game. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't want them to go there and just think, oh, they're just gonna win that game. I don't want them to go in like that. Go in, handle your business, put your foot on their neck. Don't allow them to keep the game close. You know, and that'll be the end of it. You know what I'm saying?
Count me in, James. If they win the Super Bowl, I will be at the parade. I will make my way out there, and I will be partying with everybody else when we win the Super Bowl this year. So you can count me into that party for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I gotta find this poster.
That's pretty tight, cool. Dude. Like, and that's just the whole experience, man. Like I told you guys, I was really trying to move out there this year. You know, things went another route, but you know, my goal is now just to be able to make enough money where, you know, I can get out there on every home game. You know, I won't be satisfied till I'm there every single home game. So I can be at the Philadelphia bars. We can be on Broad Street streaming some shows. We can, you know, be a little bit everywhere in the Infinity Lounge doing some things. I think that'd be good to really get in touch with the people of Philadelphia on game day. That'd be exciting. And that's what I'm really motivated about doing.
Definitely, bro. You know, like I said, it's nothing like being at the link, man. Like just the atmosphere is so electric, my guy. So electric. But you know, while we're here for you guys have us for probably like another 15 to 20 minutes. So let's talk about the offense a little bit, my man. What are you looking for most on this offense?
It's just execution, you know, clean execution. That's it. You know, I'm not even about, oh, we got to hit all these deep bombs or whatnot. I want to get the ball out early into the playmakers' hands and let them do their things. You know, I want Jalen to be like, so far we see him, you know, really, you know, get the ball out a lot quicker than he have. You know, he's starting to anticipate throws as opposed to just waiting for the guy to get open. So as long as we're seeing that happen at a consistent rate continuously, game in, game out, just let these guys that we got do their thing. These young guys got talent, man. And like I was telling everybody, if Jalen Reagor continues to do what he's been doing in this camp, you know what I'm saying? We could have the most deadliest receiving core in the league, you know, because no one got 4. You know, no one got 4. I'm sorry. You know, I've looked, you know, the Boyd, Chase, you know, Higgins, that's 3. You know, a lot of people got the big 3, and that's why we put us in the big 3 mix. You know, we're probably like 5 or 6. But once you throw that 4th one, like he said, he was a first-round pick. If he's a baller and he's balls out, he has all the pressure taken off of him now. He don't have to come in here and worry about being the star of Philadelphia. He just has to come in here and play some football. I think with all that extra pressure taken off of him, it could actually help him out this year. And we have 4 stud-ass receivers. And then don't forget Pascal does pretty good with Nick Sirianni as well. So I think this offense, the sky's the limit. Like I've been saying it since the end of the draft, man. I really feel like we can be the next greatest show on turf, because who are you going to stop and what game are you going to stop them? You start thinking you're doing good against the pass. Guess what? We're just running the ball down your throat. You stop our run. Guess what? That's going to leave the pass open because we got too much weapons. Like we are dangerous at every level of the field, and it's going to be very, very hard to stop the Philadelphia Eagles in 22.
Absolutely, man. I'm so stoked to see Dallas Goedert take his game to another level, man. I think Dallas Goedert is going to benefit damn near the most by having guys like AJ Brown, DeMonte Smith, and Quez Watkins. Because Dallas Goedert, see, the thing is though, we're so concerned about Quez Watkins, improving and developing. We always think about DeMonte Smith and AJ Brown, but no one's thinking about well, my man Fresh was good, my guy. You know what I mean? It's my brother. Make sure you guys go like Philly Fresh's content. Go subscribe to his channel, man. He one of the best out here doing it, man. That's my guy right there, man. I love that man to death. But I just feel no one's talking about the level Dallas Goedert can take his game to. He's only maybe 4 or 5 years deep into the NFL, and no one's talking about him improving. People just think Dallas Goedert is just going to be Dallas Goedert. No, man, like he may improve to a level that we didn't even anticipate from a route running perspective. Just from a speed perspective, Dallas Goedert. I honestly don't think we're even at Dallas Goedert ceiling.
No, we haven't touched it yet. And the great thing is we don't even know what his ceiling is. He's been back up for a while now.
Yeah,
that's
the poster to give
like
away.
This guy starting all up even last year. He was back up to Zach Ertz for the first 7 games, right?
Yeah, he was the backup for
that poster is fire.
Yeah, man, it's a pretty dope poster, dog. That's what they're giving away they're giving them away after halftime. So if you're leaving, they're going to be they're not giving them out in the first half. After halftime, as you're leaving the arena, they're going to be giving them away. Hey, shout out to my little brother Ant Boogie in the live chat, man. That's my blood brother, man. I'm gonna be going to the
blood
game.
Brothers. Hey, salute to you. Anybody's related to Tony Shields must be
sure, man. That's my guy, man.
Whatever he does, man. Shout out to you, my guy.
For sure, we're gonna be at the game tomorrow. Me, him, and my dad, man. That's something that we always do. We try to at least hit up at least 1 or 2 games a year. One preseason and one regular season game. You know what I'm saying? That's something we try to do all the time. So shout out to him, man. It's gonna be real exciting. But yeah, you guys, if you guys can look, the preseason tickets, man, they're cheap, man. We got our tickets for about $37 a piece. They're cheap, man. The preseason,
that's a good deal.
And we're sitting in that mid level, the mezzanine or the mezzanine, however you pronounce it. We're sitting in that mid level. So I don't like to be. Being close is cool, but I kind of like to have a little bit of a sky view so I can see everything.
Roll 20. 15 to 20 range, where it's you're low enough to see the players clearly, you know what I'm saying, but you're high enough to see the whole field. You know what I'm saying? You're actually seeing what's going on.
Yo, my brother funny, yo. He talking about he related to me.
Who the older brother?
I am, so he related to me.
He capping.
I'm older. He 22, so yeah, man. Shout out to him. Shout out to Brian Dawkins, man. I can't wait to get this poster, man. I'm a frame it and everything. It's gonna be so dope.
Yeah, that's cool. I seen a picture of that too. That's crazy. I did see that picture of the Brian Dawkins, man. He's definitely a GOAT, man. One of the greatest all time. One of the greatest to do it for sure.
Yeah, it's so Dawkins by far is my favorite Eagle of all time. By far, it's going. Yeah, I'll be honest. Brian Dawkins is my favorite. I told you I met him in person, right?
Yeah. You met all of them in Post-Patron. Okay, I see you.
That dude.
We friends on social media, my guy. I see you. You know all the GOATs, man. You know all the GOATs. He is
so thorough. Dog. Me and him about the same height. But bro, he just
He's still stocky.
He built like a rock. Like I shook his hand, and I'm like, this motherfucking Brian Dawkins,
right? I'm in here.
Oh, bro, man, it's real cool, bro. Shout out to Westbrook too. Westbrook's smaller than I thought he'd be in person. Westbrook actually not that tall at all.
What was he? 5'6", right? He's like my height.
Bro, Westbrook like 5. Bro, Westbrook like 5'8", maybe 5'9". He's not that big, man. Like not that big at all. but
he was a beast.
But he another guy that's sturdy. Like these guys take care of their body still, man. Like for real.
Yeah, I be seeing Westbrook on them lives, man. Yeah, he looks like he's definitely still in shape. You know, my favorite player all time, obviously Randall Cunningham. That's my dog.
Yeah. You're OG. You're OG. I can't get mad at that because
he's an OG.
Yeah, I'm 27.
He's the reason why I am an Eagles fan. Like I was living in California, I could have been a Raiders fan. I could have been a Chargers fan.
I don't know how that happened. You was holding it down over there.
San Francisco fan. I was just like, no, I watched Randall Cunningham play, and that's when I decided I liked it. Freaking pro football, and man, from that point on, man, I was freaking Eagles fan. And like I said, those Buddy Ryan defenses, man, like all that was just all what I was about. I always loved the underdog story. Like back then, no one really counted the Eagles into nothing. Like we've always been that team to have to earn it. You know, we have to earn it, and we've done it consistently. You know, that's why I think the Rocket mentality fits us so well, because that's what we do. We win. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? We do what we gotta do. We go get that W when we need it. You know, so I'm very excited to see that, man. I was very excited to see that. And, you know, like Randall Cunningham was definitely the guy that brought me on the board. Donovan McNabb kept me here for all those years, besides him selling a soul for chunky Campbell soup. McCoy, Shady, D-Jack's my favorite receiver of all time, man. But on defense side, it's all about Trotter, B-Dog. Those are my two top dogs, you know what I'm saying? And I liked that what's his name? Trent Cole.
Trent Cole. Yo, I'm glad you said that.
Trent Cole.
Bro, my two favorite, you know, like, all right, I'm gonna tell you, here are my 3 favorite Eagles, right? So look, just to put it in perspective, I'm 27, born in 94. I wasn't able to really start paying attention to the game, paying attention to the team until the Donovan McNabb era. That's when I really started to understand what was going on. You know what I'm saying? So so all I really remember from, you know, just because of my age, right, is the is the Midnight Green era, you know the Jeffrey Lurie era, right? So I'm be honest with you, my 3 favorite Eagles, man, Brian Dawkins, Brian Westbrook, and Trent Cole, bro. Those are 3 of my favorite Eagles, man. I love Trent Cole, dog. Trent Cole, like he played the game with reckless abandon. He was violent, bro. Violent.
Yeah. Trent Cole was on another level for me. Like that whole mentality, man. And then the Trotter, like I still love Trotter to today. Like even when he left,
Trotter for sure. Yeah,
like,
he left and came back.
yeah. Trotter was that dude. And then there's a lot of other good players. Like remember when we had the freak Javon Curse. You watch him tear it up in Tennessee.
Javon Curse. Oh my God. I forgot about Curse, bro. Curse was a beast. And then he went to Tennessee. Had one, you know, I think he was a Pro Bowler at Tennessee, I think.
Yeah. Curse was like one of the best DNs in the league.
Yeah, we moved on from him a little too soon. But you know, but that happened to us. That happens to us. B-Dog made a Pro Bowl after he left us. Like we gave up on him too soon. You know what I'm saying? But bro, man, I love Trotter, Javon Curse, bro. Like, you know, a player, yo, like I was a big Lito Shepherd fan, man. Like as a kid, I love his name. I used to love saying his name, bro. As a kid, like Lito Shepherd. I just thought that was like one of the coolest names you could ever give your kid, like Lito.
Yeah, fact.
Oh man, Sheldon Brown, man, he was like that's Lito Shepherd and Sheldon Brown remind me of Darius Slay and James Bradbury, because Lito Shepherd and Sheldon Brown were 2 different types of corners. Sheldon Brown was the better tackler, more physical, the hard hitter, the banger. You know what I'm saying? The stronger body. Lito Shepherd was more technique, more finesse. You know, the guy that's gonna get the interceptions. He was the higher draft pick. Darius Slay, guy high technique. Very smooth. You know, in and out his breaks with his hips. And you know, James Bradbury is the same as well, but he's a little bit more physical, a little stronger. You know what I'm saying? So, man, like. You brought up, you bringing up DJ made me think about this guy, right? You know who I loved, bro, because like I really followed his career through and through. Like even when he was in college, Jeremy Maclin, bro. When we drafted Jeremy Maclin, bro. When we drafted Maclin, bro, I was like, yo, Maclin really like if he could figure it out, he could be nice, bro. Maclin was good for us. You know what I'm saying? Like he just had injuries and couldn't really last in the league too long. I think Maclin you had like maybe played in the league for like maybe 9 seasons, something like that, 9 to 8 seasons. But he gave us his best years, man. Maclin was a beast.
Yeah, man. Maclin was a dog. I just like he was a perfect compliment for Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah,
perfect.
It's a shame. It's a shame because they actually didn't play that much together because of injuries.
Well, yeah,
it sucks, man. Like, can you imagine having DJ and Maclin on the field?
The other one was hurt.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. Can you imagine having Maclin and Deshaun Jackson on the field for the entire season? It just never was like that. One to be healthy, one guy get hurt, one guy come back, the other guy get hurt. We didn't. I don't think those guys played more than maybe 16 or 17 total games together at one time. Like I just don't think. I don't know. I could.
His career was short, wasn't it?
Yeah,
he didn't play that long.
I think Maclin only played like 8 or 9 years in the NFL.
And Nina says, "Are we concerned about Devontae or Kelce?" No, neither one of them.
Yeah, so Maclin, as a matter of fact, Maclin was only in the NFL for 8 seasons. He played 5 years in Philly, 2 years with Kansas City, and 1 year with Baltimore.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So like Maclin, his best years were 2014, 2015. Like when you look at honestly, if you look at Macklin's career, honestly, from 2009 to 2015. He gave you Maclin had over 1,300 yards receiving in 2014. Like, are you serious, bro? And he didn't even make a Pro Bowl. Look, bro, I put it in perspective like this, bro. From 2009 to 2015, Maclin was the perfect number 2. Perfect number 2, man.
Facts.
Like you could if you look at Jeremy Macklin's career, it was definitely a success. Definitely a success. He had 2 seasons where he had 10, in his 8-year career, had 49 touchdowns. If you do the math on that, was 49 divided by 8. That's like 8 times 5 was 40. Like, so that's about.
Remember we got Darrell Green Beckham. I thought he was gonna be good.
I did too, but he was whack. He averaged about 5 or 6 touchdowns a season. That's good. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then like I said, Maclin was just productive, man. Just productive. I really love Jeremy Maclin, my man.
Yeah, Mac Dog was in the house. You know who I like too? You gotta give flowers to Jason Avant.
Jason Avant don't get
He don't get enough flowers.
He don't get enough love, bro. Because matter of fact, who remind me of Jason Avant? But I don't think he's as good. But just from a reliability perspective, right? You know who I think was as good as not as good, but do you know who I think reminds me of Jason Avant? Greg Ward. Like they're just reliable. Not the most talented at all. But they were just reliable guys. Like you knew what you were getting with those guys, and they don't drop the ball.
Yes, and see that's the part I think that our team was lacking. I think this is going to be the first year that we actually don't see so much of that. Because even last year they were dropping balls, and definitely all the years that Carson was here, they dropped a lot of footballs, man. And it gotten to the point where we're so used to seeing these guys just drop balls, and I'm like, this has to stop. None of our quarterbacks will ever be considered elite with the amount of drops that we be getting. So we need to go out there and get the guys that want to catch the football, that's willing to put their body out for that football. They're willing to extend for that football. Like we didn't have the receivers. We had the receivers that, yes, if you threw it to them perfectly, they get it and do their thing. As opposed to like, okay, you can just throw it in their facility. They're gonna make sure they go up there and get that football. So, I'm really excited to see how much upgraded our receiving core got this year. He's a Brent Selleck, yes.
Yo, I was a huge Brent Selleck fan, man. Like another guy that was just Mr. Reliable. And what's so dope about Brent Selleck, man? I love that he stuck around just long enough to get his ring. I loved it, bro. Like Brent Selleck, he was somebody that was just so physical, an amazing blocker, man. Like he was a better blocker. Like he was like man, his best season was his 2009 year. He had 76 catches, 971 yards, 8 touchdowns. Like like at that time, Brent Selleck was probably considered to be maybe a top 10 tight end at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And he played in an era where tight ends weren't as dynamic as they were now.
LJ Smith, I loved him.
I like LJ Smith. He kept getting hurt though. LJ Smith used to always get hurt.
What do you think? Do you think Brick Seller better than Goddard is now?
No. I think Goddard.
No, quick. He's like, no. I like that. He was like, no. Okay, let's not go there. Let's not go there. That is not where we're going with this conversation.
I don't like, you know what's so crazy, man? Like, and I like Brent, right? I just feel like Dallas just does everything Brent can do, but better. He can block. He's a better receiver, better route runner. He's faster. Like I'm not gonna lie. He's Brent Selleck. If Brent Selleck somehow, some way, like lost a tremendous amount of weight. Like I don't know what it is. Like he's just more. Dallas Goedert gives you everything Brent Selleck gives you. Also, like he's a combination of
like he's like isn't he like bigger and faster and stronger than Selleck?
So Brent Selleck, he played. Okay, so here we go. Brent Selleck, when he played, 6'4", 261 pounds, right? Goddard's not 261 pounds at all. Goddard, as a matter of fact, he plays at 256, so not that big of a difference. But Goddard's taller, is a little lighter, but he's quicker. He's more athletic. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Like they're not like 6 pounds, not that drastic, right? Like 4 or 5, actually it's only a 5 pound difference. 5 pounds not that drastic, but they carried it different. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, but I just feel like Dallas Goedert, you know, he hasn't necessarily had a season like Brent Selleck yet. You know what I'm saying? Like I said,
what was Brent Selleck's best year?
His best year was 2009, and then his second best season was 2011.
Like what was the stats there?
So
2009.
So 2009, he had 76 catches he had 76 catches on 112 targets. Played all 16 games. He averaged almost 13 yards of reception. 8 touchdowns. So he was reliable. Like that was his best year. And then his second best year was 2011, when he had 62 catches on 98 targets, 811 yards, 5 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? So those were his 2 best years. But Goddard, his best season, he had a career year last year, and he wasn't even getting the first team snaps. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't getting tight end 1 snaps, and he had 830 yards and 4 touchdowns. Ooh. So I feel like Goddard, he hasn't given you that one Brent Selleck season yet, but I feel like it happens this year. I think all of us can say Dallas Goedert is better than Brent Selleck. I don't think anybody will argue that.
Yeah. And Goddard, like you said, too, the biggest part about all that is you look how close he's getting at the 1K mark. And he's always been a backup. You know?
He could have easily got it this year.
If he started the whole year and got starter type reps, easily over 1K mark.
If they traded Ertz maybe 2 weeks prior, 2 weeks earlier, or 3 weeks earlier, he easily gets 1,000 yards easily.
What do you think his ceiling is? Like what kind of stats do you think? Do you think Goddard could put up stats like number 1 tight end? Number 5 tight end, like where you seeing Goddard at?
See from a stat perspective, it's interesting because you have AJ Brown and Devontae Smith on your roster, so it's going to be kind of tough for him to it's going to be tough for him to regularly be 1,000-yard receiver because of those guys. I think his floor, I think Dallas Goedert's floor is 800 yards a season. His floor, and again, that's only because of the people he's around. You feel what I'm saying? That
can even change too. Because if you worry about them too much, his numbers can even go up higher.
Exactly. So I think his floor on this present team is 800 yards. His ceiling, 1,100, 1,200 yards. Because he's that dynamic. He gets open. And think about how many times he dropped the ball last year, bro. In wide open space.
Oh my God. I still think at the end of the season,
when he wide open space. Like Goddard missed out on about maybe, I'm gonna be honest with you, Goddard probably missed out on about maybe 4 or 5 30-plus, 40-plus yard catches because he dropped it.
Yeah. I remember that one. It was like, what week was it? I think it was like week like 15. I remember Jalen just threw that ball. He had nothing but open field ahead of him, like 95 yards. He could have ran a 95-yard touchdown. like 90 yards. It was something like that. It was something long that
bro,
he wouldn't got caught on for sure, and
bro,
he
it
dropped
was
the hell out of that ball.
it was the I know what you're talking, bro. He
That was
dropped
bad.
it, bro. He was
That's the
wide
damn
open.
ball,
Matter of
guard.
fact, you know what it was? Like there was this one play where he was open in the middle of the field, wide open. I think it was like a tight end screen. You know,
It was.
He went up and took the he went up and ate the block, and then he scraped off, and he was wide open. Jalen Hurts put it right in his chest.
Yeah,
and he ran before he had it, bro. I was sick. I was sick because I'm like, dog, you can't be doing that, bro. You just got paid. You cannot be acting bad like that.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's freaking nuts. Dallas Goedert, man. I think he can do it this year. I think he will get. Like, how do you feel about this? Do you think there's one? Are we gonna get a 1K guy out of the receivers and tight end, or do you think we can get 2 or 3 of these guys? You know what I'm saying? This year, just because of the talent that's around, it's gonna be hard to stop either one guy, and you might stop one guy this week, but the other guy's gonna go off. You might stop 2 of them, the other one's gonna go out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna play that back and forth where the stats are gonna keep adding up for all of them. You know, at high levels. You know.
Yeah, that's a really good question, man. I think we're definitely going to have a 1,000-yard guy this year. It's either going to be AJ Brown or Devontae. Like it could be any one of those guys. That's the thing, man. Like I don't, and I remember you had that hot take earlier about Quez getting 1,000 yards. The only reason I may disagree with that is because I don't think he's going to get the targets to do so. You know what I'm saying? But he's the kind of guy that could get 2 50-yard catches, and that's 100 yards right there, right? So
yeah, or these Jacks have a catch for 100 yards. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
that's why I think the Quez 1K is, because he might not get that many targets, but if he catches all the targets that are thrown to him, or a majority of the targets that are thrown to him, those are going to be plays that are long plays. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to be these little 5. I think AJ Smitty going to cover the 5 to 15, 20-yard range. All these plays I'm talking about going to be like, boo, 15-yard post, touchdown, Quez, touchdown Quez, where it's like he's going to have these nice big chunk plays over and over again. But you don't need the bulk to get that high of yards, with 17 games if he stays healthy throughout.
Yeah, man.
I think 2,000-yard receivers. Fact. I think it's going to be 2-2, whether it's
I think so as
AJ,
well.
Smitty, Goddard, somebody.
I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised if the 2,000-yard receivers would be Smitty and Goddard. I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it was AJ Brown and Goddard. They're like AJ. Like, listen, bro, you got to follow the money, right? AJ Brown's getting paid $25 million a year. Dallas Goedert is getting paid a lot of money. Those guys are going to get the lion's share of the targets, man. They're going to get those guys involved. They're getting paid the big bucks. But also, somebody said something interesting, right? Somebody said something in the chat. They said they think Ertz has better hands. I agree. I think Ertz does have better hands than Goddard right now. But I think Goddard has a higher ceiling. I think Goddard is just a better overall package.
Yeah. Overall, he runs block, he pass blocks, you know what I'm saying? He does whatever he needs to do. Like, he can do it all. He that do it all type, tight end.
There's not that many tight ends in the league that can do that anymore. Like, for example, Travis Kelce, he's so talented from a receiving perspective. You don't think about his blocking, but Travis Kelce can block for real. Darren Waller, he's so dynamic from a receiving perspective, but he's not a blocker. If I had to compare Dallas Goedert to anybody, he's more of a George Kittle type. He can do both. He can receive and block, but he's not George Kittle, not yet at least. George Kittle's a freak. But not too many tight ends these days are the complete package anymore. You either got guys that can block or guys that are just really good receivers. Dallas Goedert can do both tremendously.
Yeah, facts, man. He said it's better than Ertz.
No, he does. No, for sure. Hitman. Shout out to Hitman, by the way. Make sure you smash that like button, bro. Make sure you subscribe, man, to Chalk It Up Sports, and subscribe to BIRDGANG 31, man. No, yeah, for sure. He gets way more yak yards. Like, as a matter of fact, Dallas Goedert, I think he averaged Dallas Goedert averaged almost 15 yards of reception in last season. That's a career high. That's a career high for him. His rookie year he averaged 10 yards a catch. 2019 again averaged 10 yards a catch. 2020 he averaged 11 yards a catch. And in 2021 he made a huge jump to averaging almost 15 yards per catch. So Dallas Goedert is definitely a yak machine, and he has a high. I mean, he had a lot of drops last year, but he has a high catch rate. He he had 76 targets on 50 on. Well, I'm sorry, he had 56 catches on 76 targets. So, and he had a 73.7. He had a 74% catch rate. So that's pretty good. But it would have been way higher if he would have caught the easy passes.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Dallas Goedert's going to shine this year, I think. But I'm even looking at some of the other tight ends like Calcaterra, Grant. When he gets healthy, let's see what he brings to this.
I think Calcaterra's going to be good, man.
I think he looked like watching his college film. He looked pretty good out there.
He was having a good training camp as well, but he I think he pulled something, so it's nothing significant. But
then we always got Rodgers too.
Yeah, the OG. You still got Tyree Jackson. Still got Tyree Jackson.
It's reliable for our team, man.
Yeah,
it's reliable, man.
Always comes in the clutch, man. Still got Tyree Jackson, someone who's a freak from an athletic standpoint. He just needs to figure it out from a fundamental, from a technique standpoint for the position.
I think if you look at it, it's gonna go Quez. I'm still stick with that high tech. Quez beat 1,000-yarder. I'm gonna stick with AJ getting having the most yak,
right,
and maybe the most touchdowns out of receivers.
I know. I think as far as touchdowns go, it's either going to be AJ or Goddard. Those two are going to have the most receiving touchdowns.
And then I got Devontae having the most receptions.
I think that's plausible. Because Devontae, he's Mr. Reliable too. Like, it's been such a long time where I could actually throw the ball, close my eyes, and know they're going to catch it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been a while since I've had that much blind faith in the team.
Because I would trade Goddard to the Vikings for Dalvin Cook.
No, I wouldn't do that.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't do that because I don't think Dalvin Cook is good. It's not because of that. I just feel like you lose a lot when you give up Dallas Goddard. Like, you can't just replace that.
There's not very many great tight ends out there.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like a running back with this offensive line. I mean, you can have a running back by committee. I'm not taking nothing away. This isn't an indictment on Dalvin Cook. This is more so losing Dallas Goedert is a bigger hit than the gain you will have by bringing in Dalvin Cook, if you ask me.
Because you look at Dallas Goedert is part of the run game too. You can't be forgetting about that.
He blocks.
He's one of a better run blocking tight ends in the league. So that's what I really like about the AJ Brown thing. Everybody keep worrying about his receiving. How he's going to help out receiving. AJ Brown's one of the better run blocking receivers in the league. He was on a team that ran the ball like 50 times a game.
Absolutely.
If anything, he knows more than any other receivers how to block. How to run block and also get open at the same time. So I think we're set up for success this year. The Eagles are going to dominate, man. And you guys just make sure you got your popcorn ready. It's going to be exciting.
Shout out to my man T.O., man. Yo, bro, like AJ Brown is going to be a chain mover. He's going to be a red zone monster, bro. He's going to kill in the red zone. Another guy that doesn't get talked about that much, who I think is going to kill in the red zone, Zach Pascal.
Yes,
Zach Pascal has a nose for the end zone. Like, people,
I feel like that's why we even brought him in. To be that guy.
Yeah, we brought him in as that big body. You know what I'm saying? A guy that he knows how to, like Zach Pascal. He was Zach Pascal. He's how old is he? He's 27, but he's only been in the league for about 4 years. But Zach Pascal knows how to get in the end zone. Like, for his 4-year career, he has 15 touchdowns. So
15?
Yeah, 15 for his 4-year carear, and he was always he was always a number 3, number 4 option. You know what I'm saying? He had a.
I know with Nick Sirianni, he got like 700 yards of receiver as being like the third receiver, right?
Yeah. So he had in 2018 he had 268. That was his rookie year. Didn't really get that many snaps. 2019 is where he made a big jump. Had 41 catches, 607 yards, almost 15 yards a catch, 5 touchdowns. And then 2020, he pretty much had a similar season, 44 catches, 629 yards, averaged 14 yards a catch. Then 2021, he kind of took a step back. But also remember, keep in mind, that was the year Jonathan Taylor was pretty much the heart of that offense. And part of that offense, they were running a lot, and Carson Wentz wasn't really throwing to Zach Pascal. As a matter of fact, Carson Wentz is that guy that can lock in on he can lock in on the wide receiver and not pass anybody else. That's the kind of quarterback he is. Like you see the difference in Zach Pascal's stats versus when he played with Phillip Rivers versus playing with Carson Wentz. Phillip Rivers knew how to find him.
He got a question. He said, "Who you got for third string quarterback spot? Do you think Carson Strong or Stinnett?" Be honest, I
Right
don't even
now, you gotta go
think we're
Sinnett.
gonna have a third quarterback.
Yeah, I think right now you got to give it to Reese Sinnett. He just had a better camp. I like Carson Strong, but he just looked lost right now. I don't. It's just not clicking for him. Everything I've been hearing about Reese Sinnett has actually been taking snaps with the second team. So I don't think he's going to necessarily push Gardner, but it's. I think Gardner is the bona fide backup. You have a better chance with Gardner Minshew than Reese Sinnett by far, but Reese Sinnett is definitely the third quarterback.
Would you be opposed to trading Minshew because Stinnett's playing so good? And let him be the second, and then maybe keep that third quarterback and Carson Strong, let him develop a little more.
That's a good question. That's a really good question. I would have to say no.
No,
I would have to say no. I'm not trading him
because you know what he can. You know what Gardner can do in the game. Gardner's won some football games.
Yeah,
before.
you may not trust him for the whole season, but Gardner can win you 2 to 3 games. Like if your quarterback is injured for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, Gardner can hold it down. You may go 3-1, you may go 2-2. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he can hold it down for a little bit.
He can hold it. Yeah, I definitely have full faith in him. Like even after the season, now we can trade Gardner. Get some more trade value. I'm like, no, we should just keep him because he can be a great backup. That make Jalen be able to play a little bit more free. He don't have to worry about, if I get hurt, this team is gonna just straight lay an egg and be done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He can, if he's like a minor hurt for 1 or 2 games, then he can come in there and at least win 1 or 2 games, if not both of them. Because I feel like with our team, man, any backup can come in here and win it, as long as they don't give up the game.
Yeah, for sure. I have a lot of faith in this team right now, man. But yeah, let's begin to close out this show, my guy.
Yeah, we closed out. We went on a lot of spaces, man. We went a lot of spaces, and guess what? We're gonna have something to talk about next week when we got the preseason game. You're gonna be there live, so you're gonna get a first-hand view of what's going down in Philadelphia.
Yeah, next week we're gonna have about maybe 2 or 3 games to talk about, the Jets game and the Browns game, because I think we play the Browns on Tuesday or something like that, Tuesday or Wednesday. So
we play tomorrow and then Tuesday.
Yeah. We play tomorrow, and then I think the next preseason game is Tuesday or Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken.
That'd be a fast turnaround.
Let me double check that though, just to make sure. Because all right, here we go. All right. Okay, so we play the Jets tomorrow. Okay, I'll take that back. I apologize. So we're actually going to be playing the Jets tomorrow, Friday. Then we play the Browns on Sunday, August 21st. Sunday, August 21st. And then on August 27th, we play the Dolphins. So yeah, man, like these.
I want to see that game for real.
I'm not gonna lie. These tickets so cheap, man.
We need to see the Dolphins game is inside. If it's in Miami, I'm closer there than Philly.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, let me see.
Check that out.
Okay, so this okay, so the Eagles, there's only one home preseason game, and then the Eagles got to go to Cleveland, and then they got to go to Miami. Wow. Yeah, the Eagles are going to be doing team scrimmages against the Browns and against the Miami Dolphins, so that's going to be interesting as well. If they had another home game, I would have went to the other one, but yeah, man, this is going to be a hell of a year, you guys. But we're gonna begin to close the show. You guys, please make sure you guys smash that like button before we get out of here.
Smash that like.
Let that be our final will and testament. Smash that
and if you can share the content out with everybody,
man,
on all your social media platforms. This is live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We're working on even getting them live more spots. So just make sure wherever spot you are on, you share it so we can get more Eagles fan to be in here. That we can keep grinding it out. And this community can continue to grow as awesomely as has been already. So it was definitely good. Another great night. Like I always say at the end of my videos, fly, Eagles, fly. And then those will definitely You know,
you already know how you ready. Listen, BG, you know what I'm about to do, right? You already know how I get down, bro. Listen, smash that like button. Make sure you guys comment below. Make sure you guys are subscribed to BIRDGANG 31. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just gotta charge it to the game. BG, BG, play that damn song, cuz.
We good. We out. Peace.